focusing on the project at hand and not getting bored and moving to the next thing.
Even as I watch you do that, you're quite scary, aren't you?
Am I scary?
We're sort of intimidating in a good way.
Am I intimidating?
So it's quite sexy. But...
I've never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me.
How do you learn how to do that walk on the runway? What is that all about?
I studied. I've seen documentaries and stuff on you and how you studied and like really were obsessed.
You studied what the women did?
I studied. I went to the fashion library in Los Angeles, was obsessed with tape, and I'd watch tape of girls from the 80s.
Tyra Banks is not who you think, and what's emerging now just changed everything. In the 1990s, she dominated the Paris and Milan runways, graced Vogue covers, and later hosted America's Next Top Model.
So, you know, it's interesting because I started America's Next Top Model as a very early voice about diversity and inclusion.
But resurfaced moments such as her famous lash out on a contestant on the America's Next Top Model, her 2006 gap teeth critique of contestant Danielle Evans, the 2005 blackface and race swap photo challenges on ANTM, and her Los Angeles home being destroyed in the 2025 wildfires reveal control where we once saw confidence and manipulation where we once saw charm, exposing a side of Tyra the world never saw.
You've heard it all before. You don't know where the hell I come from. You have no idea what I've been through.
Let's dive into this video to find out more. Tyra Banks was 16 when she packed her bags and left Los Angeles for Paris. It was 1991, and she had just been signed to Elite Model Management. That first season, she booked 25 runway shows, something no new model had ever done. Designers like Chanel, Dior, and Yves Saint Laurent couldn't get enough of her. She was tall, confident, and unapologetically different. By the mid-1990s, Tyra had broken barriers. She became the first black woman to grace the cover of GQ and Sports Illustrated's swimsuit issue. For many young girls, especially black girls, she was proof that beauty didn't have to fit one mold. But while the world saw a smiling, humble star, those who worked close to her began noticing another side.
Yeah, I was the first black woman on the cover. I shared it with a woman by the name of Valeria Mazda, and then the year later I was the first black woman on the cover solo. And then I also was the oldest model ever on the cover.
Tyra wasn't just modeling. She was studying the business. She wanted control, not just of her image, but of everything around her. People who worked on set said she had opinions on every photo, every angle, every lighting choice. She started thinking less like a model and more like a producer. When Victoria's Secret made her one of their top angels, she didn't just walk in lingerie. She managed how she was marketed, choosing shoots that highlighted her brand rather than the company's.
Supermodel turned businesswoman. And one of the things that I found so extraordinary is that in your earliest days as a model, so young, you were a businesswoman in the modeling industry.
Then, in 2003, Tyra made her biggest move yet. She launched America's Next Top Model. It was her idea, her rules, her platform. The show looked like a fun competition, but it was really Tyra's way of shaping how the world saw her. In front of the cameras, she was the nurturing mentor. Behind them, she was the boss, the one making every creative and casting decision. At first, the show was a hit. Millions tuned in to watch young women compete for a chance at stardom. Tyra became the symbol of female empowerment on television. But over time, something felt off. Contestants spoke about strange rules, emotional breakdowns, and pressure to please Tyra no matter what. Fans started to notice that every season somehow circled back to Tyra herself. Her looks, her lessons, her opinions.
Like a scene from Cycle 4 in 2005 when a modeling photo shoot was race swapping.
Now there's a twist. We are actually going to switch your ethnicity.
The media loved her transformation from model to mogul. She had the Tyra Banks show on daytime TV and a best-selling book. She was praised for breaking barriers and creating opportunities. But people who once admired her charm began whispering that Tyra's biggest success was convincing everyone she was humble. She built an empire, but it came with cracks of hidden tensions, silent rivalries, and stories that would later spill into the open. For years, Tyra's power only grew, but so did the number of people she clashed with. By the time her name became a global brand, many who had worked beside her quietly stepped away.
And now there were so many cooks in the kitchen. Initially, I was just doing the creative and hiring the creative talent. Then there were some controversial shoots I wasn't comfortable with.
It was the start of a new chapter in her life, one where the spotlight she once controlled so easily began to turn back on her. Tyra Banks' rise in modeling did not come without conflict. The first major clash happened with Naomi Campbell. Naomi was already a top model when Tyra arrived in Paris, and Tyra has said that Naomi often made her life difficult.
You know, so they weren't saying that, and so, you know, it wasn't fair to Naomi, but her response was, to this day, I'm very scared of her.
Designers were warned not to book Tyra, and she was intimidated on set. Tyra called it a mean girl situation and said she admired Naomi but was heartbroken by the treatment she received.
Yes, and Naomi, you got up, pushed me away, and said, yeah, I thought so, and you turned.
I did.
You went from the sweetest woman that was giving me vitamins to someone that terrified me on that trip.
Yet despite this tension, Tyra went on to become one of the most successful models in the world. Many wondered if the story had been exaggerated to make her seem like an underdog. Another feud involved Janice Dickinson, one of the judges on America's Next Top Model. Janice was outspoken and became a fan favorite, which Tyra reportedly did not like. Janice claimed that Tyra was insecure and wanted complete control over the show. She said Tyra was more concerned with attention than the well-being of contestants. After Janice left, the judging became softer and more controlled. Fans and insiders began to suspect that Tyra wanted to make sure no one outshone her. Janice said she left because she could not handle Tyra's behavior and that conditions on set were harsh.
I know you and Tyra used to not get along or something, but now you do.
Well, no, she's not a friendly lady.
Tyra also had a rivalry with Kimora Lee Simmons, who had turned her modeling career into a business empire with baby fat. Tyra wanted to be seen as a mogul too, and according to insiders, she felt overshadowed by Kimora's success.
I dressed Madonna's tour, Beyonce to Britney Spears to the First Lady, probably to the President. No, the President wasn't wearing baby fat, but he might have been wearing Fat Farm. We don't know.
Their feud was quieter and less public than those with Naomi or Janice, but Tyra reportedly phased Kimora out of her inner circle over time. Publicly, they appeared friendly, but behind the scenes, Tyra wanted to be the dominant figure. Fans noticed Kimora kept a low profile while Tyra continued to clash with people in fashion. The last major tension was with Beverly Johnson, a true pioneer in modeling. Beverly was the first black model to appear on the cover of Vogue and paved the way for others.
Every model's dream to be on the cover of Vogue magazine. And then when I realized that I was the first person of color on that magazine and what it meant to people, women, all over the world.
She criticized Tyra for acting as though she had broken barriers first. Beverly suggested that Tyra claimed credit for achievements that had already been accomplished by models before her. Tyra's insistence on being seen as a trailblazer caused fans and insiders to question her humility. These rivalries painted a picture of someone obsessed with control and attention. Tyra's public persona of confidence and empowerment began to show cracks. People noticed that while she had a charming and polished exterior, behind the scenes, she could be manipulative. Every feud revealed a different side of her: insecurity with Janice, jealousy with Kimora, and overconfidence with Beverly. The more her past feuds were revisited, the more it seemed Tyra's reputation as a mentor and role model might have been a carefully curated image. Even at the height of her career, Tyra was navigating these conflicts while maintaining her brand. The feuds did not stop her from achieving success, but they laid the groundwork for how people would later view her actions on reality TV and talk shows. What looked like tough competition and confidence to the public sometimes masked tension, jealousy, and power struggles behind the camera. These conflicts were the first signs that Tyra was not always the person her fans thought she was. Her image was impeccable on the covers and runways, but behind every smile and pose, there was a story of conflict that would later resurface and change how the world remembered Tyra Banks. In 2003, Tyra Banks launched America's Next Top Model, and it quickly became one of the most talked about shows on television. The premise was simple. Young women from all over the country would compete for a modeling contract and a chance to break into the fashion world. Tyra positioned herself as the ultimate mentor, guiding contestants through challenges, makeovers, and photo shoots. On camera, she appeared caring and tough, giving advice and motivating them to reach their full potential.
When that episode aired, I don't know, was it 10 years ago? There was a backlash saying, what are you guys doing? Painting these girls black, painting them brown.
But behind the scenes, the environment was different. Former contestants later described the set as high pressure and emotionally draining. Makeovers were one of the first points of stress. Many contestants were forced to cut or drastically change their hair, even if they did not want to. Some left the salon in tears. Hair and makeup mistakes were frequent, and sometimes the transformations damaged the contestants' hair or left them feeling unrecognizable.
I won cycle 17.
And what happened after that?
They took everything from me. My title, the winnings, they decrowned me.
Weight was another constant issue. Contestants were frequently criticized for their bodies, even when they were already slim. Cycle 3 contestant Cassie Grisham wanted to lose weight, and Tyra scolded her. Robin Manning from Cycle 1 was repeatedly called too heavy, despite being a healthy size. Tyra and the judges framed these critiques as tough love, but former contestants described them as humiliating. One contestant recalled being forced to step on a scale on national television, while Tyra coldly discussed her weight in front of millions of viewers.
I think the next America's Top Model is not a plus-size model. I'm sorry. I wasn't cruel.
You don't think so?
I don't think I was cruel at all.
The show also pushed contestants physically and mentally. Some were deprived of adequate food and water and worked long hours under stressful conditions. Challenges were designed to be difficult, but they often felt unsafe. Many participants said the constant pressure and public scrutiny affected their mental health. Beyond physical and mental strain, Tyra also humiliated contestants over personal aspects of their lives. In Cycle 5, contestant Kim Stoltz, who was openly gay, was told she should not be too proud of her. This moment is often cited as one of the most shocking in the show's history, as it contradicted Tyra's public stance on diversity and inclusion. Photo shoots were another source of controversy. One challenge forced contestants to swap racial identities, darkening or lightening their skin to portray different ethnicities. The shoot was widely criticized as offensive. Tyra never apologized, and many viewers later revisited the episode, labeling it one of the most problematic moments of the series.
Like a scene from Cycle 4 in 2005 when a modeling photo shoot was race swapping.
Now there's a twist. We are actually going to switch your ethnicities.
Despite the controversies, America's Next Top Model remained popular for years. Tyra's ability to draw attention was unmatched. Every episode centered on her insights, critiques, and reactions. Some viewers appreciated her energy, while others noticed a recurring pattern. Even when contestants were the focus, Tyra often made the story about herself. She inserted her experiences, insecurities, and opinions, leaving contestants' personal stories in the background. As the seasons continued, former contestants and media outlets began documenting the toxic aspects of the show. Tyra's tough love persona, once praised, was now seen as manipulative. The competitive environment, extreme makeovers, public humiliation, and high-pressure challenges painted a different picture from the empowering message promoted in media. By the end of her time on America's Next Top Model, it was clear that Tyra had created a show that both launched careers and caused controversy. Behind the polished editing and glamour, there were stories of fear, stress, and emotional strain. While she was praised as a mentor and advocate for aspiring models, the reality was that Tyra Banks maintained strict control over every aspect of the show, often at the expense of the contestants' well-being.
Tiffany, I'm extremely disappointed in you. This is a joke to you.
The legacy of America's Next Top Model is complex. It introduced the world to aspiring models, inspired countless viewers, and became a television staple. But it also left a trail of former contestants who felt used, manipulated, and exposed, revealing a side of Tyra Banks that the public rarely saw. After dominating the modeling world and creating America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks shifted her attention to daytime television. She launched The Tyra Banks Show in 2005, aiming to bring empowerment and self-love to a wider audience. On paper, it seemed like a natural step. Tyra had charisma, a recognizable name, and a platform that could reach millions. But as the show progressed, it became clear that it was not just about helping people. It often centered on Tyra herself.
So Beyonce, we're gonna ask Beyonce questions by category. I feel like you get asked the same questions all the time, people all up in your business and saying the same damn thing all the time, so we're gonna change it up.
From the start, the show featured serious topics, from family struggles to body image issues. Guests shared personal stories, but Tyra frequently turned the focus back to her own experiences. Many viewers noticed that even when sensitive subjects were being discussed, Tyra inserted anecdotes about herself or her own opinions. What was meant to feel supportive sometimes came across as self-centered, leaving guests in the background. Some episodes became infamous for stunts that were controversial at best. One example was when Tyra wore a fat suit to experience life as an overweight woman. She said the goal was to raise awareness about body discrimination, but many viewers argued that it was performative. Critics pointed out that it treated the challenges of plus-sized people as temporary inconveniences, easily discarded when the suit came off. The stunt sparked debates about whether Tyra truly understood or empathized with people struggling with body image issues.
The bottom line is that people are used to seeing me looking like this and like this and all that. And everyone seems to be pretty okay with that. But for some reason, people have a serious problem when I look like...
Another controversial moment involved a segment that used blackface as a social experiment. Tyra claimed the goal was to challenge racial stereotypes, but the execution was widely criticized as tone-deaf. Viewers and industry insiders said that the stunt was offensive and unnecessary, making the show appear more like entertainment than a genuine attempt to discuss social issues. Body image was a recurring theme on the show. In 2007, tabloids ran photos claiming Tyra had gained 40 pounds in 2 months. She responded on her show, standing in the same swimsuit and demonstrating how camera angles and poses can affect appearances. She also addressed the unrealistic beauty standards women face. While some saw this as a bold move, others criticized her for inconsistency. On America's Next Top Model, contestants were routinely shamed for their weight. Tyra's on-screen support for her own body did not always extend to the young women competing on her show.
I think Next America's Top Model is not a plus-size model. I'm sorry.
The show also had moments of awkwardness that drew attention. Tyra had a habit of inserting herself into every story, sometimes interrupting guests mid-sentence. Viewers said it often felt like the Tyra Banks Show was about Tyra more than anyone else. Despite tackling serious topics, the focus often shifted to her opinions, reactions, or personal narratives. Critics pointed out that these patterns were consistent with Tyra's other work. On modeling sets and reality TV, she had shown a tendency to prioritize control, appearance, and personal branding. On her talk show, these tendencies manifested in ways that frustrated audiences and drew criticism from former contestants, colleagues, and viewers alike.
Sharing how some of those throwback shows suddenly feel different.
I started rewatching America's Next Top Model Season 1, and I could not believe the things that came out of those people's mouths.
Over time, the reception of the Tyra Banks show changed. What had once been praised for its energy and entertainment value came to be seen as insensitive and performative. Episodes that initially generated attention became examples of how not to handle sensitive issues on television. Tyra's reputation for empowerment and body positivity was complicated by a track record of controversial stunts, shifting focus, and occasional public missteps. By the time she wrapped up the talk show, Tyra Banks had proven that her influence could draw attention, spark conversation, and inspire viewers. But she had also shown a side of herself that made people question her authenticity, consistency, and motives. The polished, empowering image that had been cultivated in modeling and reality TV now seemed complicated by a pattern of self-centered choices, controversial experiments, and public misjudgments. After her talk show ended, Tyra Banks took on a new challenge as the host of Dancing with the Stars in 2019. Many expected her to bring glamour, experience, and charisma to the popular dance competition. After all, she had dominated modeling, launched a hit reality show, and hosted her own talk show. But from her very first episode, it was clear that her style did not fit the show's tone.
He is not in the ballroom with us tonight. However, this does not mean that they're out of this competition.
Tyra's entrances were grand and dramatic, drawing attention to her outfits, poses, and personal flair. Fans of the show, accustomed to warm, approachable hosts like Tom Bergeron, found her approach over the top and awkward. Instead of seamlessly guiding the show, she often appeared more interested in showcasing herself than in supporting the contestants. Her dramatic pauses and constant self-focus quickly drew criticism. Viewers said it felt like the show was about Tyra more than the competition. The on-air mistakes did not help. Tyra frequently stumbled over contestants' names, misread results, and created awkward moments for dancers. One of the most infamous errors happened when she accidentally announced the wrong couple as safe, only to correct herself moments later. Her apology, "This is live TV and we're all human," did little to stop the audience from expressing confusion and frustration. Social media lit up with criticism, with fans questioning her ability to lead such a high-profile show.
ET spoke with the cast, and they admitted the whole thing was totally wild.
I didn't know what to think because I knew there was 3 couples, and then she said, "You guys are in the bottom 2 with Anne and Keo," and I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Behind the scenes, reports of diva behavior added to the growing negative perception. Insiders claimed Tyra was difficult to work with and made unnecessary demands. These reports contributed to the narrative that she was more concerned with herself than with the success of the show or the comfort of her colleagues. Crew members, judges, and dancers allegedly found her style controlling and exhausting, further damaging her reputation. Despite her efforts, ratings continued to decline. Viewers publicly called for her replacement, comparing her unfavorably to previous hosts who had created a more relaxed and enjoyable atmosphere. By 2023, the decision was made to quietly replace her with Julianne Howe, a former contestant with a strong connection to the fan base. There was no official farewell or announcement. The transition was subtle, but marked a clear end to Tyra's tenure on the show.
Tyra out, Julianne in. Julianne Hough is returning to the Dancing with the Stars ballroom for the first time in years, but this time as the host of the show.
Tyra Banks' journey is a reminder that fame and influence can be as fragile as they are powerful. From supermodel to reality TV mogul and talk show host, she has achieved milestones few could imagine. Yet the stories that resurface reveal complexities beneath the surface.
How much of a diva are you? I wish I was more of a diva.
Whether admired, critiqued, Or somewhere in between, Tyra's legacy is still being written, and it leaves one question lingering: who is Tyra Banks, really, when the cameras are off?